with brand new rumors and reports suggesting that Terence Crawford could fight Canelo. Payday, you want payday. I know that at 168. Audio has now resurfaced where Canelo Alvarez spoke on Terence Crawford and a fight with him. And he said a fight with Terence Crawford would be easy work, but for the right price, he would spank Terence Crawford. In this video, that is what I will talk about. Let's get unpacked, shall we? We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live boxing ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live. We are back and we are unpacked. Now, rumors are surfacing that Canelo could fight Terence Crawford. If you don't live under a rock, you probably have heard that. Will it happen? I don't know. Now, I made a video already telling you my gripes regarding Riad season, and they got, in layman's terms, and to make a long story short, they got too many fights that are in limbo and not confirmed. Crawford, Canelo being one of them. But Jaron Boots Ennis, Stanionis, right? Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. And they keep throwing out all these fights. Haney Garcia, 2 and 3, if they get past these other guys. If this guy gets past this fight. Listen, I'm old school. I've already made a video breaking that down. You can't change me. Unless you made more money in this game than me. Unless you've been doing this longer than me. Unless you know more fighters than me. And you have a bigger platform than me. And I'm not just talking about one platform. I'm talking about collectively, because I am a multi-platformed channel, right? So I tend to know these waters. For my personal taste, this is not the correct way to do business. You have some of the detractors. They're trying to play and act like they don't understand what I'm saying. That's fine. We will see. I'm not worried about it. Trust me, I'm not losing any sleep. You also have some people leaving dumb comments like, oh, man, you're mad that Turkey took over and he's making the fights. I monetize my content. I am a content creator in the sport of boxing. Why would I be mad at more fights, which equals more content for me? This doesn't even make sense. More content for me gives me more to talk about, in turn gives me more money. So I know some of you guys don't think before you speak. You just say whatever comes to mind, beta male stuff based on emotions. Doesn't work with someone like me. I love my job. They say if you do what you love, you never have to work a day of your life, and that's what I get to do. So yeah, I'm not mad at more boxing, and I have a boxing channel. Now, I'm going to play Canelo. He did an interview. This is an old interview, but it's resurfaced now because it's meaningful, because rumors are suggesting that Canelo could fight Terence Crawford. So I'm just going to play it. Roll the clip.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Resurfaced is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. He did like almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Are you?
So Canelo kept it real and said he did good in the arrow fight. That's your one big fight. You don't really have that many names. Just the arrow fight, which he said, I respect him. You did good in that fight. You made it almost look easy. So I respect the performance, but that's one, And I will say this, Canelo kind of tried to little boy David Benavidez in a similar way. He said, you beat one Anthony Durrell, one guy. And then David Benavidez kept fighting and kept fighting, beat Caleb Plant, beat Demetrius Andrade, after Canelo made these statements. And then Andrade, I know for a fact, is a guy that Canelo pretty much avoided when he was at 154 and 160. And Benavidez still didn't get the Canelo fight after Canelo basically said, step up his resume. Now, on Sway in the Morning, this is what Canelo had to say regarding a Crawford fight. And he said it would be easy work. Roll the clip.
If the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, class is an easy fight. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, he grown. He's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. But for me, in my weight.
Y'all thought the video was messed up. No, I'm just playing with y'all. Y'all thought the video was buffering. I got y'all. He said, for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Oh, my goodness.
Class is an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in.
Wow. So Canelo, that was the past 2 interviews that he did. To be honest, I believe he did the interviews before Crawford fought Madrimov, but I don't really think the Madrimov fight matters because, as I've stated, I'm not big on this fight. I've already went over it. I've explained it thoroughly, eloquently. I don't really like this fight. You're going to have a contingent, the resistance, people that, I don't know, maybe don't like my channel, and they're going to try to put smut on my name and, oh, you hate Crawford. It has nothing to do with hating Crawford. I don't hate any fighter. Why would I hate fighters when I cover boxing? I'm old school in my thought process. I'm not big on weight class jumping. You've never known me to advocate and pull for and hope for and wish for this rapid weight class jumping, especially when a person hasn't cleaned out their current division, which Crawford, he has one fight at 154. Why should I see him at 168? Done nothing at 68. Haven't fought anyone at 68. Haven't even fought anyone underneath that at 160. And you have one fight at 154, which to me, the Madrimov fight was challenging. Now, February 22nd, I cannot wait for Virgil Ortiz and Israel Madrimov, because if Virgil Ortiz get in there and fight Madrimov and spank him or stop him or drop him or, puts on more of an emphatic victory and performance than Crawford, then to me, it hurts the Canelo fight even more, because Crawford is about as high as you can get on the pound for pound list. People aren't putting Virgil Ortiz up there right now, in the number 1, number 2 spot, but they are for Crawford. So if Virgil Ortiz, who really doesn't have that many fights at 54 himself, if he's in there with Boachuk, I thought he could have lost that one, but it was close and they said he won. And then he goes in there, if his style bests Israel Madrimov, and if he makes it look easy or more punishing, then I think that'll be a big statement. Because let's be honest, when Crawford fought Madrimov, he had his hands full, especially early in the fight. Now, I give props to Crawford because Crawford is the type of fighter where he does have like a chip on his shoulder and a willingness to win. He has drive, and if you tell him step it up, the rounds are too close, you're going to get a dedicated Crawford. So he is a true fighter, a true champion, all that. The biggest gripe I have with the fight is the weight. You guys could try to spin it and say I hate this guy or that guy. I don't really care. What do I look like being a true alpha and being bothered by what people say? I don't care. I'm telling you my opinion. And my opinion is not going to change because I know you guys can't change it. I've said the same thing, and not one time have I heard one of the Bud Buddies offer a solution to the arguments that I've brought up. Crawford is good, but so is Canelo. If they were naturally the same size, which they're not, Crawford is probably maybe a little bit taller, but I'm talking about mass. I'm talking about, see, you guys really, a lot of people watch boxing, but they don't really understand boxing. First of all, I never said Crawford has no chance. So let's start there. I never said he has no chance. But if I have to predict, I have to lean towards the skilled, bigger man. Even though Canelo's skill, his actual skill set isn't, it's not as sharp as Terence Crawford. However, he does have skills, plus he's bigger and he's stronger at this weight class, to me. Especially, they're talking about 168, no rehydration clause. So a lot of you guys like boxing, you really don't understand how this sport works. For example, some people are like, oh, but Crawford will be 170 pounds. Okay, that's fine. But imagine if you, highest you've really fought is 154, and you replenish to, let's say, 177, guys who were fighting at 168, how much are they replenishing and rehydrating to, right? So how much did Edgar Berlanga win when Canelo just beat him? Because he looked huge. He's taller than Canelo, taller than Crawford, and he looked huge. Same thing with Munguia, and Canelo handled both of them. Now, again, you could say Munguia and Berlanga, they're not as good as Crawford. But Crawford, we have to judge him where we've seen him, right? Munguia and Berlanga are good and at least strong for 68. We've never seen Crawford strong at 68 because we haven't even seen Crawford at 168. You get me? So for me, I haven't seen him, so it's really hard to gauge. And this is not a simple move up one division. Like, for example, I'm so fair and consistent with the boxing analysis that I give in the commentary. For example, you've never heard me say Crawford would have a problem going from 35 to 40. Ever. I never worried about that. I never said Crawford would struggle when he became undisputed beating Indongo. I was at the fight, and I was at his fight with Jeff Horn. So he moved up to 47 for Jeff Horn. Again, you guys can talk and type. I was at both of those fights. You guys weren't there. So I'm real boxing. Anywho, from 135 to 140, I never thought Crawford would have a problem. From 140 to 147, some people are like, oh, he's too small to be a welterweight. I never seen that. I'm like, he got height. He's lanky, wiry, long arms. He's good. When Crawford said, I did everything at welterweight, beating Errol Spence, and I'm moving from 47 to 54, cool, no problem. Crawford might be able to beat everybody that he fights at 54. Might. We haven't seen it, but whatever. I never complained about it. So I'm showing you that this is strictly because he just got to 54, has one fight, and then would be jumping up 2 more weight classes. This is not a video game. This is not a video game. Now, again, if Crawford was at 160 and proved himself at 160, then moved to 68, I'll be like, all right, whatever, because at least I have a barometer of how he'll look at the weight class. But, you know, skipping divisions, and it's a shot in the dark. So the Bud Buddies, they're acting like, oh, I know exactly how he's going to look. I mean, you really don't, because it's so many ways I could break it down. You don't. Unless you could tell me a fight where he fought so incredible at 168, there's no way you know how he's going to look, period. Because having extra muscle, you might look great for 4 or 5 rounds, and then if you haven't knocked Canelo out, how do you look taking his punches in the back half of the fight with that added weight? You know, like, for example, Demetrius Andrade looked very good the first 2 rounds with Demetrius, or when Demetrius fought David Benavidez, right? The problem is he couldn't ward the guy off, and this is 2 guys. Andrade got some size to him, right? And he was undefeated. This is 2 guys at 68, and Benavidez was just too. He just kept coming and kept coming. Pause, but he broke him down. So I don't doubt that Crawford can have moments and look good and, you know, things like that. Maybe Amir Khan did that, though, with Canelo. Amir Khan was up 4 rounds, 4-0. But what happened to Amir Khan in the end? So that's what you guys are forgetting. And then you have people, they're like, oh, but Floyd Mayweather did this. Yeah, we're talking about when Floyd was a 47-pounder with at least 2 fights at 54 with Oscar De La Hoya and Cotto, and he fought Canelo when he was 23 at 152. What does that got to do with Bud more than a decade later jumping up all this weight? Is not the same. It's not the same. Floyd fought Canelo when he was 23. Canelo's like probably 33, 34. This is over 10 years ago. So you think Canelo hasn't learned anything from the Mayweather fight to current day? And again, the big thing is the weight. You guys, oh, Crawford's going to destroy him. Listen, I don't like the fight. No one has convinced me otherwise. I think it's a novelty fight. I said it. I made a video about it. Mikey Garcia said literally the same things that I've been saying regarding the fight. He's like, I don't like the matchmaking. Doesn't really make sense. It's not that Crawford can't fight, but with the weight, it's going to favor Canelo. The other issue that I've given you guys is Canelo is an A-side, and he knows it. And Canelo Alvarez is not going to give Crawford any breaks. He is not Errol Spence, where Errol Spence gives up money to make the fight and coin flips to make the fight. That is not Canelo's deal. Canelo Alvarez, from what I've seen, unless he makes it a first with Bud, he's not giving Bud anything. So if Bud wants a catch weight, no. If Bud wants a rehydration clause, no. If Bud wants it to happen on another date, no. If Bud wants a bigger ring and Canelo wants a smaller ring, no. If Bud wants bigger gloves, no. So Turkey said that Crawford was coming off an injury. That's another thing. And he wouldn't be ready till May. Then they're talking about the fight in September. So I don't know if they're both trying to do interims. Canelo probably definitely would. I don't know about Crawford. But you mean to tell me Terence Crawford may or may not have a warm-up, tune-up fight, hasn't fought since August, so if he doesn't do a tune-up, he'll be out the ring over a year. Canelo's not going to give him any leverage, so all Canelo's rules, that is going to definitely favor Canelo. Like, Canelo's not going to fight at 164 or anything like that, right? and Bud got to move up 2 weight classes. Canelo's gonna have he's gonna have the pro crowd. It's a dumb fight. I don't know what else y'all want me to tell you. It's a dumb fight. I get it. Bud feels he can beat him, and Canelo has slow feet and stuff like that. Jermell Charlo hit Canelo with some shots and didn't even move him. And Jermell Charlo is a guy at 54 who has iced a lot of people. Terence Crawford has iced nobody at 154 because he only has 1 fight, which is what I've been saying. Jermell Charlo had actual like highlight reel knockouts at 154. Canelo hasn't had many knockouts recently, but he's also fighting bigger people like Munguia and Berlanga. Who knows how much they were rehydrating, right? Even John Ryder, he was about the same height as Canelo, but he kind of like stocky, and he had the same build as Canelo. So who knows how big, and he was pretty durable, right? Crawford, we've seen hurt in lighter divisions by Mean Machine and Gamboa, so he would have to box very sharply and not get touched. You know what I mean? It's a different fight. So I don't fancy it. If they make it, they make it. I'll cover it and give my opinion on it and break it down. But I think it's a mistake. I definitely think it's a mistake. It's like a payday fight and kind of a retirement fight. Really for either. If Crawford loses to a smaller man, you might as well retire if it even happens. And if Bud loses, I would imagine it would be by taking a lot of punishment and or knockout. So, you know, he might as well retire. And Bud is older. I mean, you guys think it's a Rocky Creed movie or something. So enjoy. I've stated my opinion. You guys take it for what it's worth. We unpacked. Canelo says it's an easy fight. The other thing you have to consider, Canelo's not ever been knocked down or knocked out before by anybody. No official knockouts or knockdowns. He hasn't done the stanky leg in a bunch of fights. So Canelo is going to be in there with Crawford. I'm literally seeing people pick Crawford by stoppage, but he couldn't stop Madrimov. I mean, I guess it's possible, but if you haven't stopped the one guy you fought at 54 with 11 fights, good luck stopping Canelo at a higher weight, much higher weight, and he got 50, 60 fights. Again, this stuff doesn't make sense to me, but you guys got it. Let me know what you think. We unpack.